everybody. Good morning, everyone. It's me again. I'm Kimberly. And yeah, so good to see some people already with me right now. Could you just say hi, type in so that I know who is with me right now? So I know, you guys are as energetic as I am. Yes, if yes, please type in yes and give me some like or love or something like that. Give me some hint. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on time. In fact, earlier. And yeah, today, hi honey, good morning. Yeah, so today we are back again with another Sembang episode, and this round with my co-host Asha. Let us welcome Asha. Woohoo!
Hello, everybody. Hi, good morning. My name is Asha.
Hi, Asha. Oh my God.
And
So good
I'll
to
be
have you
co-hosting
here.
with Kim today. Thank you,
Well,
Kim. Thank you.
No.
Morning
Thank
exercise.
you for joining us. Yeah, it's early morning and it's so good to have you here, okay, with us right now.
Thank you.
So how do you feel, Asha? Woohoo! Early morning.
Okay. Yeah, actually, when I woke
Already
up
we
this
have some light.
morning, I was very excited, but now I'm honestly feeling a little bit nervous, but definitely looking forward for today's session.
Yeah,
So,
maybe we have to do some stretching. Oh, honey, say hi. Good morning.
thank you. Thank you, Kahani. Good morning to
Cantiknya
you.
rambut. All right, Asha.
All
Don't
right.
be nervous. Just enjoy the session, just like the rest of our audience. If you guys have anything, any comment, just put it in so that we know. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
Honey said. Yeah, give your best comment and love and like. We're receiving so many love and like already. So
Yes.
just for those of you who are with us for the first time, okay, I'll just introduce quickly about Sembang, this Sembang live stream. So basically, in this Sembang live stream, we will be inviting people, okay, from different background, and to discuss various environmental topic ranging from urban farming and then zero waste lifestyle, and then a lot of good tips on how to practice a more sustainable lifestyle in this platform. So if you want to find out more about our future session, you guys, you can see here, there's this QR code. Feel free to scan this QR code to actually subscribe to our newsletter. So in future, we'll text you, we'll let you know if there is any upcoming project or upcoming Sembang session. And then that's where you get, updated and join. Feel free to join us from there, okay? So what is the topic that we have for today's Sembang session, yeah, Asha?
All right. So in today's episode of Sembang, right? So we'll be touching the topic of casting seeds on a rocky ground. So Kim, I definitely have to ask you, what is the first thing that crossed your mind when you planned about having this topic today?
Well, this topic actually it's something for me. I mean, I believe to some of the people it might have different meaning, but to me, I can relate this topic with my journey of when I started, telling people about environmental issue. So definitely, I view that journey as a rocky ground because it's not easy. Asha, we have been in the same field, and
I know.
Yeah. So maybe I can share from my personal experience. When I first started off sharing with my family, wow, it's quite challenging for me because to help them to understand how our daily life actually influence our environment as a whole, and how our each day practice actually make a difference, and how is it important for us to practice sustainably. So, well, of course, now that they get the idea and they are so good about it, and they even share with me some of the great tips on how we can practice sustainambly.
That's nice.
Yeah, to get to this stage, I see myself doing what I'm doing right now is actually sowing the seeds of on the thoughts of about environment, how we actually link with our daily life in individual, in their mind, in their thoughts. So hoping that it will grow out as a tree, or even bearing fruits, or even sharing the seed to others. So that's why I see it as casting seed on this rocky ground?
Of course. I think I can really echo with you so much in
Yes.
this matter. I think indeed saving the environment is about
Yeah,
commitment, right? A commitment that everybody, let it be adult or
absolutely.
children of all ages and identities, coming together to plant the seed for change. And
Yeah.
today, I should say that we are honored to invite, or I should say this, I'm very honored to have
Yes.
invite our two
We are very
guests
honored.
from, yeah, we are honored, from the Church
Yes.
of Divine Mercy to share their journey of introducing green practices in their church. And we will be also interviewing them on how they actually overcome the societal form and instill the seeds of green practices in their church. Just for your information
Mm.
also, and for everybody's information also, Church of Divine Mercy has been certified under Penang Green Office Certification program in the year of 2019, and they have also successfully received our Green Event
Wow.
Incentive Award in year 2020. Yeah, that was like last year, and
Yes.
I am actually very how to say,
Exactly.
I'm very proud. Yeah, I'm very proud when I actually introduce them in this way.
Yeah.
So can't wait to hear more from them actually, Kim.
Yes, I would like to hear more from them how they actually, got certified and how from their own community effort actually make to this stage. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hear from them as well. So apart from the first session, which Asha shared with us just now, we also
Yeah.
have the second half, which will be an input sharing session by Impact Lusion. So our guest from Impact Lusion will be sharing about the waste issue in Malaysia and why sustainable waste management is so important in today's society. He will also be giving a few tips on how individuals can practice living a more sustainable life. So please
Yeah. Yeah.
stay tuned with us. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we know that we have a lot of things coming, a lot of information flowing in today, so we'll be grateful if you can also share this online
Yeah.
stream now
Share
that
it
you
out.
are viewing this, right? You can share with the share button, or you can copy the link and share to your close groups,
Yep.
right?
Hi, morning, Mei Chin. Hi, morning, Seng An, and also New Lucky. Morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. So
Yeah.
exactly, talking about this casting seed on a rocky ground. What, uh, perhaps Asha, from your point of view, what do you think is the biggest challenge that you actually face in this journey?
Okay. Yeah, probably I should just say that we are in the same road because we face the
Yes,
same thing, like what you said just now. I think the biggest challenge
exactly.
was, or still, that I'm, still
Still,
facing is actually, yeah, still facing is actually raising awareness in the close circle of family and friends. So we are in the same boat. and
yeah,
and I think the awareness is the, is the key in keeping sustainable living at the forefront of people's mind always. And because I believe everyone has to make changes to live more sustainably and care for the environment, right? And
yes,
education
absolutely.
can be an important driver in making this happen, and it's very important anyway. So I'm still combating the battle in making people
Yes.
believe that they can, bring so much, or a huge significant change to the world by
Absolutely.
actually doing just a little thing, or
Small
by
practice.
doing, yeah, by doing
Yeah,
something that they feel insignificant, or if that is what they believe lah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I can echo with you so much. And that's exactly why we are so honored to invite the guests of
Yeah.
the day today to actually share with us their journey of starting how they started this low waste or green practice in their own church, and then what's the challenge that they face and so on. So yeah, without further ado, perhaps just let us welcome them. Perhaps let me just give a brief introduction before we invite our first guest in first.
All
So
right.
a little introduction for about our first guest. So our first guest, she is the head of the Ministry of Friends of Creation in the Church of Divine Mercy, Sungai Ara. So
Yeah.
she used to be a global chain global supply chain practitioner who chose early retirement from multinational company and to focus on caring for our common ground, our common home, which is the Mother Earth. And she feels strongly that we, every single one of us, should actually act now and walk the talk on how to ensure a sustainable future for our younger generation. So let's welcome Madeline. So hi, Madeline. Hello, so good to have you with us today.
Thank you.
So should we get our next guest perhaps?
Next up to accompany Madeline herself. So we have our second guest. She is the youth advisor in the Church of Divine Mercy Sungai Ara, and this beautiful lady is actually also closely followed and supported a Penang Green initiative since 2013. And her love for environment was easily translated into a green lifestyle with the Pope's call for unified action in the environment in his message in Laudato Si. In the near future, she aims to bring an awareness of the impact of fast fashion and detriments on the environment. Don't you think that's great, right? So let's hear more from her itself. So I welcome Miss Karen.
Hello, Karen.
Morning.
You guys look great this morning. Looking great.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe just perhaps so thank you so much, Karen, and also Madeline, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time to be with us this morning, and for those of you who are watching right now, and if you have any question along the way as Madeline and Karen they share their journey, please feel free to type inside the comment below, and we shall address it or bring it up for you. All right. So perhaps I already can't wait to learn more from Madeline and Karen. I think I'll bring in the first question perhaps. Like for Madeline and Karen, I would like to understand, because as what Asha have introduced just now, you guys are the already certified as Penang Green Office. You got the certification and Penang event incentive. So we just want to know, where does this conviction of your church in going green or even low waste actually come from?
Okay.
Perhaps Madeline,
maybe I start first. Okay. It started in February 2019 after we conducted a one-day workshop of ecological conversion, and at that same time we formed this ministry of Friends of Creation with about 11 members. The objective of this ministry is to support Penang Green Agenda and also to answer the call of Pope Francis. Actually, the conviction started since May 2015 when Pope Francis published this book, and it's named Laudato Si, Care for Our Common Home. So after this, all the churches, right, are striving to change our old bad habits and to introduce new ecological way of living. Everyone try, right?
So it's a global thing, Madeline?
Yes, it's a global thing. Yes. So it started from global and a cascade now. So Church of Divine Mercy is answering this call. So what do we do? As much as possible, we educate our communities to practice zero waste and practice 6R. For example, after Chinese New Year, you have rotten mandarin oranges, right? We always have that. So we make them into enzyme instead of throwing them away. Yes, and we have garden waste, all the garden waste. So we make that into compost. And before the pandemic time, we used to have this Sunday breakfast, a lot of children's there for Sunday breakfast. Yes, you know about that, and and we are serving it in proper plates and cutleries, and everyone has to line up to wash their own dish after meals.
Oh, that's nice.
We train the kids from small, right?
Great effort.
And for the kids, right, we actually do a promotion. We did a promotion to bring their own cups for the free Milo. So if they do that, right, they were given a sticker each time when they bring their own cups. So they were all very excited.
That's nice.
So they actually bring their own cup. That's how they get practice from young, right?
That's what we are trying to do, And
but it's still a choice, right, Madeline?
It's a choice.
Whether your church want to practice or other church, it's still a choice. It's just a open, that encourage all the churches to actually go for that.
So we are more going into encouragement, instead of say you must or you must, because it's all your own will, right? So we will just do it, and then other church maybe they say, oh, they like this idea, they follow, or they have even better idea, So everyone can just do what they think is the best for the environment.
Absolutely.
And we also started recycling center back then. It has to close temporarily because of the MCO, right? But on that time, in 2019, we visited Tsuji Sungai Nibong, and we learned from there. We learned from them the correct way in segregating the waste. So from there, based on our capability, we created 6 bins, which is mixed papers, newspapers, carton boxes, mixed plastics, metal, and aluminium. And people are informed. People informed to clean it before they place the recyclable item into the correct bin. It's very important to clean it.
So that means you guys have the designated recycling bin in the church itself?
Yes, correct.
6 bins altogether. So they were separate. Wow.
Yes. And one more, I mentioned about the green event, right? So before the first lockdown, early 2020, we was just lucky to be able to pull through this eco fair with the theme Zero Plastic Waste. So all the visitors
I should say that I'm proud to say that I attended your event.
I think you and Mr. Uzi was
there. And the other colleague, we attended. We really enjoyed your eco fair, and I can say that whatever that you said previously was in place because I saw it with my eyes.
Wow, so nice. Thank you.
I wish I could attend again.
So people are happy, to learn, and I still keep this display. This is one of the display that I like to show here. If you can just keep shopping bag, cutleries, metal straws, and a cup in your handbag, you can come back home with zero waste. That's what I usually do. And you will not feel guilty of how many plastics you have contributed to the landfill or could have gone into the sea.
Right? It's actually saving our job. We don't have to worry about where we're going to handle our waste if we are not creating any waste, right?
It's true. It's a headache. It's a headache with the waste. And we had that workshop that Asha was there also. So I was given this. So this is my tapao bag every time, I put the tiffin here or whatever, so I go tapao every time.
It's actually made out of the 3-in-1 that foil line packaging, right?
So they
big
take
one.
the bottom. This one is the kopi all.
And I believe that you also have a session, right? That you teach all your church members on this. Because I also witnessed that session on that day during your
workshop.
Wow. We have a workshop. I think about 20-30 people attended, and it's a co-join with the Church of Balai Pulau. They are the expert in doing it, so we learn from them.
I see.
Great.
Perhaps Karen, you have anything on this part to share, perhaps from the youth perspective, from the kids perspective?
Yeah, I just want to add on that even at home, I have one of those like the Cafe 21 bags, we drink so much coffee. We collect and we make it ourselves also to reuse.
It's not easy to make,
It's not. I can't do it. I've tried, but I can't. But I just want to add on to what Madeline has said. Truly, I believe that the conviction in our church started because of Pope Francis' message in Laudato Si. I've been in this church even before it was a church. I've been here since I was 15, so I could really see the changes that happen. And I think Madeline also didn't mention that we have solar panels even before we had this Laudato Si happen.
Wow.
Great.
So like even before the message of Laudato Si, I think the youth, we've always had this green initiative in us, because whenever we go for activities, we go for picnics, we'll bring our own cutleries also. And, we'll bring extra to share with those who didn't bring. And for every activity, we definitely will always carpool. So for those parents who have bigger cars, they'll just like dump all the kids in and we'll all go together. Definitely, whatever big cars you have, I'll just dump, you sit in the boot, you can fit and go.
It's actually more fun. with that. Okay, like everyone go in the same car.
Yeah, so unfortunately we don't have that anymore, but the practices of green initiative has definitely been there. Even in our youth activities, whenever we provide lunch, we will just easily tell the caterer we don't want it in individually packed boxes. Just give it to us in trays. Because like Madeline said, we have our own cutleries and everyone just washes up after themselves. And definitely there's no waste at all. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
Great. So I can say that there's a lot of green practices being introduced in your church. Yeah, even way before. I think that is like already looking at the future, and then that was even before the Laudato Si, right? So
yes, that's right.
That brings me to another next question that I want to know, eagerly waiting to know. What was their reaction and the changes that you brought, right? Did you see did you observe any changes or when you introduce, especially all these practices in your church, right? So what changes? What was the main things that you actually observe? Maybe we can start with Carrie.
Yeah, I think the biggest, I would say, observation that I made was definitely during these coffee mornings and these like Sunday school sessions where no one uses plastic cups. And, can you imagine children are fighting to wash their cups at the sink. It's so refreshing. We've never had that before. And definitely you would see like even though there are waste bins that provided, it's definitely never full. Because there's no plastic. Even there is, it's just like, maybe you cut the plastic, then you throw and all, but not actual like paper or cutlery not like paper plates or plastic cups or fork and spoons, definitely no more.
Yeah,
that was the biggest change.
Yeah, I think I also saw the parents, right? I think like you have, I don't know, maybe duty roster that this weekend, this Sunday, there are a group of people bringing in food with their, take also that, Kim, and then they bring their own food, then they're using their own containers from home instead of, getting it from caterer or, I saw that. It was very great, actually.
That's so much easier and environmental
I think definitely. And I also want to highlight this very special thing that the youth does ever since our church started going green is that whenever we have camps or events and we need to look for decorations, we never buy new.
Usually that's where most of the waste come from.
Yes, definitely, because you use it once and then you throw it away. So we have like a treasure hunt around the church. We'll go scavenging for things that we can just bring as decoration. So you have like bricks and stones and like random kayu here and there, for our decorations at camps. I think that's very nice to see that.
Oh my God, that's really good. I mean, that one have to come from the heart. Like it's not like you tell them they will change. It somehow have to come from the heart. They understand why they are doing so. Is that case? I think Ms. Hu also mentioned that that's inspiring. But how about from Madeline's side? Do you observe any changes among the adult, perhaps?
Oh yes. And like the management team, our church management team, they go for paperless meeting. Most of the time.
Online.
So we just use LCD projectors. So the paper usage dropped a lot. And like what Karen mentioned about the decorations, right? So during festive season, our maintenance guy is the one who's putting up, and he's very creative, and he just do all these ways to arts with beautiful bottles, CD, CD make into the what's that called, the snowman. He used CD to make snowman. And one more. I'm very happy that we have this team who give away packed food to the poor. Church, we always do that. And this team, they are actually using biodegradable sugarcane box. Sugarcane made box. Because that's to them, since they cannot avoid disposable packing, I mean, we still have to use this, right? So they choose to use the harmless one.
Correct.
That's
so
what
it's from their own initiative, like without anyone telling them, they just sought for a more environmental friendly way.
Because this has been like in the discussion all the while, in the church, people has been talking. So also from the discussion, then we say, hey, we found this, then they use it, willing to pay slightly different, and they use it.
I mean, in this pandemic situation, I understand, and it's really good that people are trying to, help other people. But question is, how are we going to balance between helping people and still not creating waste for our environment? So it's something hard to juggle. But right now, I think Madeline has provided us a good idea. Perhaps those of you who wants to help people out there, that could be some of the things that you can consider, like what the Church of Divine Mercy is actually practicing. Yeah, I mean, that's really inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
this is one of your members.
Yes, and rainwater.
Yeah,
Definitely
just
later
like,
we want to hear more.
yeah, you can buy from Redo, REDO.
Redo. Yeah, Redo.
Nice.
So if those of you who actually come across this website, you can actually step inside the group to share with the rest. Yeah, I think we heard that before. They are actually one of our partners last time. So yeah, they have a lot of environmental friendly packaging there. So if you want, you can sort out from there. So thank you so much, Madeline, and also Karen, for sharing with us such a great tips to our audience. And yeah, I think that's for a church, if not only church, but for a community, for anyone, if you want to start from your own community, from your own school even, or from your own family, this is something that you can start first. First to plant a seed. Why is that important for us to actually care for the environment? What is the big picture that they actually see, and how we actually bring impact to us in the future? So from that, we walk the talk. As you can see, Karen and Madeline, they are doing it so naturally in their lifestyle already. So
they started
naturally, people want to follow, right?
See, they have proven that you don't have to do something big to bring change. You can just start, in a small scale, and it will grow. Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much. So that's for the interview session. Next up, we will have a rapid fire session just to understand a little bit about Madeline and Karen on your perspective of these choices. So for those audience who are with us, now that we are going into the rapid fire session. So in this rapid fire session, we'll be asking questions that start with, would you rather? Okay. And there will be 2 options in each question. So please tell us your choice for Karen and Madeline within 5 seconds. Okay, you have to pick your choice within 5 seconds and elaborate on why you choose that choice. Of course, you can take more than 5 seconds to elaborate, but you have to choose your choice within 5 seconds. Okay, so if not, you have to wrap already. So Madeline and Karen, are you ready for this session?
Okay.
All right. So
perhaps before we start, I should just say that maybe we can have the answers simultaneously, so it will be more fun. It could be the same answer, it could be the different answer.
Yeah, so definitely.
All right, here comes the first question. All right, would you rather have money or more time? 5, 4,
1,
3, 2,
more time.
1.
More time. Okay, so we have more time from Karen and Madeline. Perhaps, Karen, would you like to elaborate a bit why you choose more time?
Because, even though I'm very young now, I have no money, and money is like, what keeps me moving. I think that time is definitely more important, in terms of like being with your family, getting to actually enjoy life. If the world had no money, I'm pretty sure we'd be more relaxed, like no one's always working and chasing for more money. Definitely.
People nowadays, don't know how to live without money, but actually maybe we can explore on that. Maybe there are different potentials as well. How about Madeline? Do you have the same thought? Sorry, Karen, you have things that add on?
I wanted to add on. It's funny because now, like in MCO, we have a lot of money, but we can't do anything with it. You can't travel, you can't go shopping, you can't go eat. I just wanted to add that.
We can't really do anything. That's a good point actually. Actually, Simon also choose more time. Simon takes more time. I mean, to our audience, if you have, you can also put your choices in the comment area below. But for Madeline, do you have the same thought as Karen, perhaps, or you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, it's about the same, because the world now has been turning too fast by chasing over the materialistic things. So actually, time can actually cure so many things. Time can cure people. Like people say, oh, I have no time to do sustainability. Even go tapao, I have no time. So I have to use the disposable things and all that. So when we have the time, a little bit of extra time, I can go home or I can pack the bag and the tiffin in my bag. I can put everything in my bag. I just need that extra little bit of time. And that extra little bit of time is where I can do waste segregation. But the people now has been overused their time, no time, and they cannot do all these things. And in fact, I just hear the Alzheimer talk, the new finding about Alzheimer, curing of the Alzheimer is the lifestyle. When you have too much stress, uncontrollable stress, that is one of the causes. So there are 10 things. I'm not talking about Alzheimer. But if you have the time, you will be able to practice the lifestyle that they teach you.
Agree, before it goes too late, right? And then you regret, I used to have a lot of time, but I didn't make any changes. So
regret.
That was a good point before it goes too late.
Yeah.
True.
But actually, from what Madeline and Carrie, what you have shown here through your example, is actually priority. Like, what are the things that you give priority to? So even for tapao outside, it's not going to take a lot of time also. You just take a tapao and then go. just a habit I would believe. Of course, at first it will take more time, but after that, as it becomes a lifestyle, then I believe it becomes natural. So thank you so much, Sharon, and also Madeline, for the explanation. So next up, we have the second question. Okay, are you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, you need the drums roll? Do you need the drums roll?
Yeah, definitely. But don't worry. And those audience, if you are with us, you can also put down your choices in the comment area below. Yeah. So here goes the second question. Would you rather, Madeline and Karen, have the ability to speak to animal or to know other people's thought?
5, 4, 3, 2,
Speak to animal.
Time's up.
Speak to other people's thoughts. Okay, so we have two different answers. Perhaps this round, Madeline, would you like to start first? Or why did you choose you want to speak to animal? That's something new.
Because I don't know. I just lately I started to inspired of how the animals live and what do they think, because I learned that animals like birds is actually always praising to God. And this is what I read from the Saint Francis of Assisi, the Laudato Si, the background, the saint, and he talks to animals, and sometimes I feel, because this is a creatures in our ecology, right? And you can see that elephants, they have feelings, and they can cry. Yeah, they can cry, and you save them, they will say thanks. There's so many videos now, right? So animals has feeling, and if I can talk to the animals, I don't have to scared of them, because I do scared of them too, right? Like dogs and all that, they bark at you, right? I'm also scared of them, but so these are imaginative things, but I think it's nice. And why I don't choose how people think, because there has been so many books that I can learn. Yeah, complicated, but I can also learn a little bit, by reading and all that. So I choose to understand animals. Yeah.
I mean, I thought at first you choose, the reason why you choose to speak to animal is like maybe you can ask the bird to bring you some good seed from other places. And you can plant a lot of different vegetables.
That can be one. They actually plant the amaranth for us. Because they just, they just take, and then they just throw everywhere, right? Yeah.
Correct. In fact, they are the farmer, nature farmer. How about Carrie? Why do you choose to actually know other people's thought?
Because I'm not a very animal person. So I just
you're more
I just
close to
decided.
human.
I prefer human relationships. I'm very interested. Personally, I like psychology. I like analyzing people, watching people. I don't want to hear their thoughts, negative thoughts. No, I don't like that. That's too much. But I would just, it's nice to sometimes maybe to try to understand people for when they have no words to convey what they want to say. To just I prefer that human touch. Yeah. But after listening to Madeline's answer, I feel like maybe talking to animals is also quite cool. Yeah.
Yay.
I think that they want to be friends with me. Yeah, probably. But I think both, if we have both ability, it's also good, so that we can understand people better and we can understand what animal wants, then we can come together, perhaps a more peaceful life, I would say, right?
True.
So Simon also say, if animal have feeling, try not to eat them again. Stop and start eating plant-based food by now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Great, right.
Whether we understand them or not, if possible, for the sake of our environment, it's also advisable for us to eat more veggie than meat. Exactly. So, all right, we are coming to the last question for this rapid fire.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to ask the last question. Okay. So, Madeline and Carrie, would you rather go back to the past to prevent the plastic pollution from happening, or go to the future to strategize on what you can do now?
One is past, one is future.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Future.
Future. Madeline and Carrie also choose future. All right. Nobody want to go back to the past, to make changes. All right.
Let
Perhaps
whatever
Carrie,
happen.
Yeah, is there a reason why you all choose go to the future? Yeah.
Madeline, you want to go first?
Oh, okay. This is simple. This is what we can make changes. The past is the past. So we start now. Make changes to live ecological way.
As in, you can go to like maybe 2050. Then, so now that I'm in 2050, I see what's happening there.
Then come back here to change, right?
Yeah, maybe you can see already a lot of plastic there. Then you can take some photo and then you come back and then put in TikTok and show the younger people.
I hope that will not happen. 2050, we will still see a very beautiful sea and what we see now.
On animal.
Okay, Madeline is looking at the other side of the coin.
Yeah,
she's like hoping for
positive.
Yes.
Yeah. How about Carrie? What do you visualize?
I feel like, humans, we are at this stage now because we just do what we want. So even if you go back to the past also, if people don't see the detriments of their actions, they will never change. So at least now that we are in that kind of era where we are aware of plastics, microplastics, and how it's affecting like all of us, so that's when you start making the change. We're humans, we're very selfish. If it doesn't affect you, we don't want to do anything about it. Yeah. So you can't change the past, we can only work towards the future. So that's a more realistic answer, I feel. Yeah.
Absolutely. I actually recently come across a documentary. It actually says that a lot of people thought that in future, if climate change actually go beyond what we can control, and a lot of people think that will be the end of the world. But sadly, according to the scientists and researchers, it's not the end of the world, but it's just that what they fear most is we have already pressed the button that is unstoppable. So we can't really turn back, and the whole condition of the earth become a place where we can't actually adapt and it's not suitable anymore for humans to stay. So that's what they fear most. So the earth definitely will still be there. It's just whether we can adapt to it. And surprisingly, we have most of the audience actually pick future, like from Josephine, from Laura, actually pick future. And we have one audience who want to go back. Perhaps she has different thought on how she wants to change. But thank you so much. Yeah, who knows? Thank you so much to our audience who actually just put down your comment. Yeah, we definitely love to hear more from you. If you can just elaborate down there, no worries. And thank you, Karen and also Madeline, for your time and also your elaboration on this, why you actually choose this choice. And we learned so much from you guys. And all the great tips. We hope that it's useful for our audience to practice in their community, among their friends and family. So with that, Madeline and Karen, perhaps could you please give our audience some heads up if you guys have any future plans or goal to continue this commitment and to protect the environment in your church? Perhaps, Karen, you would like to...
Okay. Yeah, sure. For future plans, definitely I would want to try to collaborate more skill workshops. Because personally, I have a hobby in sewing. And ever since I started learning how to sew, I also started to learn how bad the fashion industry, textile waste, and all the impact. It's terrible. It pollutes the waters, the sea. And people are underpaid for their wages and those kind of things. So a lot of people don't really understand that just yet.
True.
So what I aim is that, when you have workshops to teach people maybe how to mend their clothes or how to make their own clothes or reuse or learn how to thrift, the aim essentially is education, because sustainability looks different for everyone. There's so many ways that you can be sustainable. For me, my passion is fashion. So
fashion.
I naturally will want to learn more and to do something about it, because I see that something is wrong. So
I think this is also new, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody is talking about plastic pollution. Everyone is talking about plastic pollution, this and that. And I think fabric waste is another thing. Yeah, that's a good thing, actually.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I can show you. This is only a small part of my fabric waste stash. This is so small.
Wow.
I have drawers and baskets full of fabric. It's terrible. And the thing is, when you manufacture fabric, there's plastic. When you ship it, there's plastic. When it comes to you, there's plastic. Yeah. So fast fashion definitely is a big contribution, but I think that's a topic for another day. But definitely our future plans is to educate. Yeah.
Okay, Kim, I think we have a topic for now already for the next session.
Right. I'll be connecting with you again, Carrie, on how we can work together to educate people about fashion.
I'll be very happy to talk about it.
Yeah. How about Madeline? Perhaps you have other plans for future plans on this?
Oh, yeah. So on top of what Karen said, we will be focusing on grow your own food project, because food could be a problem in future with the climate change. Now we have heat wave and flood, and we will face these logistic issues to bring the vegetables from the farmers to the consumers. Even they grow, right? It's difficult to reach. And for public health, it's better for us to eat the vegetables without chemical pesticide and chemical fertilizer. So we have actually started a rooftop garden in our church during the recovery stage of the first MCO. It's a very simple setup with pots and metal stand. And we do this is to give hope to everyone here. Give you confidence that if we can do it, you can do it also at your own balcony, at the common garden or rooftop of your condo or your flats. And if you are staying in the landed, everywhere. And if you stay in the landed property, you can do at your back lane or at your front porch.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God. I wish I could visit your rooftop garden if possible.
Me too.
Sure. Welcome.
All right. If I'm not mistaken, Madeline, you have actually prepared a video for us to actually bring our audience to actually tour around your rooftop garden virtually, right? I mean, right now we have a lot of virtual tour. So why not we do a virtual tour to Church of Divine Mercy rooftop garden right now?
Let's go. I can't wait.
All right. So let's bring the video in.
On top of this building, under the solar panel, is our rooftop vegetable garden. The name of the garden is Divina Ortus, means divine garden. This signage is painted by one of our youth. Let us enter to the garden. Here we are. I will show you that we have multicolors of vegetables, protein, and carbohydrate all in this one little garden. Kailan just started growing. Ulam, chili padi, which we have harvested most of it, so not many left. Baby brinjals, this is the small type and is almost ready to harvest. Red amaranth, we plant at the same pot with brinjals, so is to fully utilize the soil and to save water. This is the long brinjal. These are the old red amaranth that we keep for the seeds. We also try planting lettuce, which seems like it is growing well. So we will grow it in this ventilation block, which earlier batch was baby pak choy that we have harvested all. So far, we have contributed our harvest to about 18 families of B40. And this is bitter gourd, newly planted. Here are the French beans under the protein category. As you can see, it has started to grow flowers. The beans will grow from here. Long beans, it is also crawlers, so you need to put stick or strings for it to crawl. Both beans take about 3 months to bear fruits. This is the close-up of the flowers of long beans. And let us see these little beans. The little long beans is started to grow. Potato leaves with potatoes growing inside the soil for carbohydrate. Our compost bin donated by one of our members. We put the old plants that don't grow well anymore here, but must remember to remove the hard branches. The door at the bottom is for us to harvest the compost. Our chief gardener, Miss Ann Chong. Reuse the soil by mixing it with compost, add a bit of fish amino acid and fermented chicken dung or goat dung. Rain harvest tank with 400 gallons capacity, a DIY present from Father Martin. We use it to water all our plants. Our artist in action in different ages is doing the mural painting at the rooftop. This is the finished product painting of our saints of garden and saints of ecology. On the left side of the rooftop, we grow some decorative plants to block the air that coming out from the aircon compressor, and we grow some flowers here to attract bees and butterflies to help on pollination, because plants like bitter gourd will need pollination. These 2 small ponds is to harvest rainwater as part of the decoration. Initially, we only put 2 pairs of peacock fish to eat the mosquitoes' larvae, but now you see they breed and we have so many of them.
Wow, I can't believe that's a rooftop garden.
Yeah,
and
it's really
they
a
have
nice
so many
garden,
things
right?
there. Yeah, there are so many things there.
I wish that I have such garden, at my place, but all I have is a
Yeah.
water tank. Sadly, a water tank.
But just as Madeline and Karen shared just now, we can do from everywhere. It's just whether big or small scales lah. So you don't have to do like they have a compost bin and stuff. You can actually start from small, and
Agree.
from one pot perhaps. Yeah.
Agree.
So
thank
oh
you
my God.
again thanks again to Madeline and also Miss Karen for the fruitful information and session.
Yep.
And for those of you who would like to find out more about these programs, all the programs that they are running and so on, you may be able to follow them on their Facebook page as listed below. You can see it's running at the ticker below, right? So Kim,
to find out more about their project. All right. So, by the way, it's not the end of the session. Like I mentioned, those of you who just joined us right now, we actually have the second session. So, we have an Ep4 sharing session coming up next. We are so honored to invite Muhammad Faiza Abdul Rani from Impactlusion to share with us the waste issue in Malaysia and why sustainable waste management is so important in today's society. So I call it as Mr. Faiza. Yeah. So a little background about Mr. Faiza from Impactlusion. Perhaps Asha, would you, mind?
Yeah. Today Kim is being generous. She's letting me do all the honor.
To introduce all the guests.
Yes, actually, I am very honored when I introduce them. I feel very proud. Anyway, so Mr. Faisal is currently the co-founder and program director of Impactlusion, a social enterprise that is leading the way in environmental conversation and conservation and community development. And not only that, he's also the founder of Malaysia Eco Breakers Community. And he's doing as the head of waste management division for the Sustainable Business Network Association Malaysia. And not only that, advisors for Generasi Peduli Sampah and lead program and event for International Solid Waste Association Young Professional Group Malaysia. Chapter specialized in sustainable waste management practices. And I am going to continue learning and green and green project management. So to walk the talk, right, he is also a zero waste practitioner for 5 years in a row and a low carbon lifestyle practitioner for 3 years. Keith, I am so inspired but when I introduce Mr. Faizal in this way, right? So I hope that in future when somebody is introducing me, I want to be introduced in this way, I'm a lifestyle low waste lifestyle practitioner and so on. So I think without further ado,
Yes, I'm sure those of you who are from KL and he's based in KL, probably you definitely heard his name and he's everywhere. Whenever there's environment, there's he. Let us welcome Mr. Faizal. Hi, Mr. Faizal.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Oh my God, so good to have you here. I mean, Mr. Faizal, it's really a busy person and I think you just mentioned to us saying that you have a straight webinar all week long, right?
So right now it's like for Pertubuhan Generasi Peduli Sampah Malaysia, we are a part of the NGO Makeathon for the next 4 weeks. So we have to do design thinking, we have to do community interviews for a project that we are working on one community, one glass crusher. So that's something that we are kind of working on right now because at the end of the day, it's like we know that glass, while we demand for using of glass jars and a lot of glass items, but the problem is glass recycling is non-existent, almost to non-existent in Malaysia, right? So when you set up a recycling program, it's like glass is always like, oh, we don't want it. There's no value.
Glass is always the problem.
Yes.
So in Malaysia.
So after it's like after founded that Malaysia Eco Breakers Community, we've settled out the issue how to manage single-use plastic. So now we're moving on to glass, the next chapter. So while others like looking at plastic still, we let them concentrate on that. Yes. So why compete when you can always complement, right? So those are the things. So those who are doing it in plastic, like the Precious Plastic Malaysia, like a lot of the other groups around Malaysia, like doing like upcycling. We kind of just let's work out together whenever we have an opportunity, but we're looking at different streamways. So this is where, when we talk about sustainable waste management, is when we understand our streamways, right? So when we understand the breakdown of what is the composition of our waste, we're able to slowly target it every single streamline. So so that's the key. So that's why it's like if we do separation at home, we do segregation at home. So we were able to do composting, we're able to do recycling, and then things that can recycle, we find ways to upcycle it, and then like creative ways to it. So sustainable waste management is not just about managing waste; it is about identifying waste, figure out each waste stream what is the best solution in the small scale, medium scale, and the large scale. So you have to have that kind of like mindset, right? That's why it's like for me as a green certified green project manager, it's like so whenever there's projects, it's always good to understand. Same goes with events, right? So before COVID, it's like whenever we do cleanups or CSR event with companies, right? So event management side, how a lot of the time, right? So I think it's like everyone can relate. Whenever we do event, right, have we actually think about the the green event management?
Absolutely. A lot of time people just jump right in. I want to do recycling, I want to do this, but they don't know what to start.
But let's look the most simple thing. If we do events, right? So when we do let's say a coffee session, webinars, seminars, food. right? So we don't even separate during the event, and yet we call it like a green event. But for us, whenever we do those kind of events, so we actually have that means we try to find either venues or places that we're able to work with where this will be the dedicated sustainable waste management corners. That means we'll have one person staying beside the bins to educate during the event, for example, how to separate your waste. So that means food waste in one side, the non-recyclable in one side, recycle in one side. So at the end of the event, we're able to measure. That means that the event, we better understand what are
the kind of waste.
Yes. So either when we do cleanups like with companies, or we do any CSR with companies, so having those kind of like method is something that is good to go. That's why it's like for us, it's like we do weekly cleanups with the Leti Club, with the Generasi Peti Sampah, with beach cleanup community in Selangor, right? So and then in Penang also we have beach cleanup Penang and beach cleanup Kedah. So we have quite numbers. So I've been with a lot of organizations and then like be a part. And this is where cleanup is a good way to really educate in terms of understanding how we can how to practice sustainable, right? Because previously it's like how we do cleanups is always like, okay, let's clean up, so at the end of the event it's
mix
always,
it up.
It's always mixed up. And then it's like, oh yes, we collected 1 ton, 2 tons, we are so proud in that amount. But then it's like, but the problem is that with that mindset, we always pick and choose the most dirtiest place, right? So we don't even look behind our area. So that's why whenever we do cleanup, we concentrate on not the quantity, but the quality type of cleanup, which is implementing waste auditing. So next.
All right.
Next.
So
So Gotong Royong is like to change from a physical event to a virtual event was the biggest challenge for us this year, right? So before this, I think it's easy for us to go and then to go to do waste audits and stuff. So it's easy. But now, how do we do it in this in the last 2 years is something that is a little bit challenging. So next. So for the last in September, right? So every single year we have this mega cleanup that we plan out every single year, which is the World Cleanup Day. So in 2019, what we see is we had about 90 locations. How many numbers? So those are the big cleanups, right? So that we did. Next. And from that event itself, what happened is we are able to do the auditing process. So during the audit process, we better understand like in terms of the waste profiling. So next. So you can see this is in 2019 when we were still able to do
COVID.
Before COVID. So it's like this is where it's like we miss this whole kind of like sense of community, especially, right? Correct. During this time. So when we do the whole process, it's easy when we are gathered together to really instruct in terms of waste audit. So from that effort, we're able to actually look at the waste profiling. So 2019 result was in the next slide.
I would say it's not easy to even build such a big group of community
So you can see from here in 2019 we see a lot more what is the category of waste we've collected, right? We see cigarette butts, we see plastic bottles. So these are just the numbers. So when you kind of do waste auditing, you understand what is the problem. So you better understand that your community problems in terms of littering. In the most rural area, we don't see much of plastic waste. Big plastic waste is just the small because one is the contribution that the concessionaires are working hard in terms of managing, right? So that's it. But the smaller pieces are still the one that is being thrown out there. So that's why we see like cigarette butts is one of the top contributor.
That's hard to collect.
Yeah. And when we do the waste audit, right, we found that 90% of the time, people didn't realize that cigarette butts are also plastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably they thought it's paper.
They thought it's paper. They thought it's biodegradable because the way it's being wrapped, it's like, oh, it's biodegradable. No, it's still plastic. You're still kind of like throwing single-use plastic to the ground. So, and that's where it breaks down. So when we do this type of waste auditing, we were able to educate the volunteers, right? So we're just not putting it into one bag, and then we don't encourage the education portion. And that's where a lot of the what we see was from experience, like doing cleanups before 2018. It was just like, yes, it's like there must be something more, something sustainable when we try to implement, right? I think it's like the key is, how do we implement the seed in a cleanup? So just seeing it sometimes, it's like people thought, oh, that's enough. When people see it, people will actually change mind. No, it is always, we have to kind of like always think like this: out of mind, out of sight. Right?
True.
So it's not in front of us.
Yeah. So when we put in a bag, and it's always it's already out of our mind, right? So it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So we don't see it anymore. So that's why it's like, if once we pick it up, then you throw it back out and then audit it, then you start realizing, see individually how many straws, how many plastic bottles, then you can actually educate, then you can engage. So that's what we did, is in a bigger scale. So the challenge was 2020, right? Wow. 2020 is like, how do we actually do this now? So next. So yeah, so 2020, we try out kind of like mixed areas, like how we can do it. And we had a successful results in terms of doing it. But 2020 was a little bit easier, because by the time it was August and September, we were able to move around. We were able to actually organize kind of partially like big events or small events with social physical distancing. So that was easy. So we were able to kind of conduct and get the result what we need in terms of the numbers, the waste audit process. So that was the challenge. But early this year, but even last year, what we tested out different models of like cleanups, virtual cleanups, like the 10-minute cleanup challenge last year. So what we found was the challenge was a lot of this virtual is the data collection. So data collection was like, how do we do data collection, right? So we've already instilled the competency, we've already instilled, but at the end of the day, easiness of the data collection was the problem. So that's what brings us today in 2021 with the next slide, right? So that's where it's like we set up to actually do this whole Cash for Trash program, right, for 2021. So using apps. So this is where we are partnering up with the Little Club, and then GPS, and then the SUSNet. So all of us as an organization came together, figure out this program, and carve out how can we do this virtually, right? So, and it's been amazing to see every single day people are just uploading, and then they are doing a part of this virtual community. So right now we have almost like 10 schools as a community, 3 kind of like group communities are doing it actively, encouraging. It's like whenever they open the apps, they see, it's like how many communities I'm done, how many people are doing, so that they are able to kind of like do this all the time. But we saw that for this year, right? So we change it into a competition, because at the end of the day, it's like it is a hard time, right? So we want to reward those who are active, who are kind of doing it a lot. Communities are doing it like with the cash prizes, right? So we kind of set up like a total of like 5,000 ringgit of cash prizes for 2 different categories, which is one is the individual category, which we have a 500 ringgit, 200 ringgit, and 100 ringgit cash prizes. Then for community that is participating, we are rewarding them with first place at 2,005, and then 1,000 ringgit for the second, and then 500 ringgit for the third place, right? So right now we have schools that already registered and are part of the program. We have a community society, which is mostly community who are just families of like in B40 community that is active doing it. So it's like we are like, yes, it's right. If they win, it's like at least it helps them in that sense. So it's a form of reward. So yeah. So
Cash for trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Great.
yes, previous video.
This for
So
this year.
yeah, so this is
the
up to date. Yeah, yes. So it took me until yesterday. This is the number that we got until yesterday. All the data collection. So up to from the 1st of August, we already have about 362 submissions, right? Of participation. We have about 10 communities that is active, and so far we've already conducted about 10 webinars. Right, so we have our open webinars, the Cash for Trash talks, which we've done on the topic of cash for trash. We've done the topic on sustainability, which PGC was part of.
circular
Yes,
economy.
circular economy coming up soon. Then we're going to have the last one is on Gotoroyong. So yeah, so it's still ongoing. And also tonight, for example, we'll have a screening on the film Blue as well to really educate. So keeping the program is not just like, oh, competition wise, let's just put and then forget the rest of the community. No, we put it with a lot of this efforts in terms of information, trying to educate. That is the continuous portion, right? So this is the numbers so far. So we have about 362 submission, and then you can see in terms of details how much weight based on percentage, based on, so we are able to kind of gather this data and then seeing it as effective as possible. That
I'm
people
actually surprised that cigarette butt is not the highest this round.
Cigarette butt is not the highest because people are not looking it, right? So that's what we found is a lot of this are because they are stuck at home. So we have majority of this are home or offices in terms of waste, type of waste.
Okay.
So we have data now regarding if we were to build. So once we've completed, we're going to do a whole data analytic regarding trying to figure out how much is from home, public spaces and stuff. So we better understand. But again, why cigarette butts is not a lot is people still don't realize cigarette butt is plastic. People always think it's neat. So that's why I said when we do a physical one, it's much more beneficial when we do physical cleanup because we're able to instruct them, pick up the cigarette butts.
True.
When you instruct, because as the smaller the pieces is, the more people don't really see it. And that is the problem.
Correct.
Right? So that's the problem. People always see the big stuff, but people never see the small stuff. Right? So for me, it's like, whenever I go, it's like do cleanup. People always say like, "How can you see that?" So it's like my eyes are so used to like looking and finding
to detect your scanner.
I know it's like that's it's like
True.
people see it's it's clean. I see it's like cigarette butts. There's a lot.
I receive a lot of questions like, how can you see the things that I don't see? So my, our eyes are trained to already see all the trash. Then people ask why you only see trash. Then I also don't know why I only see trash.
True. I think now that Mr. Faisal has said this, then I think after this, you can't unsee cigarette butts anymore. You will be seeing it really. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So this is the thing. It's like good news is that data is collected, and it's very important because Malaysia right now we are building our zero waste roadmap, right? So we're building our circular economy roadmap. But when it comes to data, it's easy to get it from industry, from the agencies, but from the cleanup process, right? The leakages, the littering, no one is actually recording it, and we are doing it. So we have data from different states, different areas. So we have if it's a beach cleanup, if it's a city cleanup. So we have a much more broader assessment in terms of data what we can do. So we're still improving. So if we look at the previous slides, right?
Previous slide. This one.
So those who are still want to kind of like participate, we are still open for registration and participations, right? Communities who wants to join, it's like do join us because the competition ends on the 18th of September. It's like this year. That's when we have our World Cleanup Day, right?
Yeah, I think it only takes one download away. So Mr. Faisal, do you have any idea what is the number of downloads that you already have now?
in terms of downloads, since I have to double check with the team. So,
It's
but
fine,
we look at the active in terms of the number of submissions. So yeah, about 362 submissions. So the app, what people don't understand is that the apps is actually a Malaysian apps, right? So this is a Malaysian apps that is being created, and the little club itself has an international kind of like followers. So we are getting data from Singapore. We're also getting data from the Philippines and across the world itself. So and this is where it's like we want to lead, right? If we want to Malaysia to lead in Asia Pacific for waste and stuff, this is the first way to go. The more data we have, the more better we can actually argue and contribute in terms of and justify in terms of our program. So next.
Agree.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Faisal also mentioned something interesting, is that this cash for trash doesn't mean that you have to go out to the anywhere, beach or around. If you are not comfortable to do so, you can actually do from your home. From your house, you can just clean up and then segregate your waste and then key in the data. It's still useful for the data, right?
Yes. So the in the apps itself is that if those who are download it, so you can actually go to either Google and Google Store or the Apple Store, download the Litter Club apps, and then you can actually start trying it out, right? So you can start trying out, and then if you download it, it's like basically you don't need to pay; it's free. And you can use it for your program, your future program, right? Any organization can use it for their future programs, and then get community involved and do a virtual cleanup now, right? So now we can do virtual cleanup as community, because in the apps we can create a community. Once you create community, people can join the community, and when they do the cleanup, they can do a part of the community. So it's like under the community report. So you see how many people are in the community, how many people are doing the cleanup. So you, as a community, virtually, we're still, while we are far away, we're still connected, we're still interacting, we still see other people's effort, right? Because, so that's how we need. So if those
Mr.
are
Faisal,
yes.
I'm just curious, like in the app itself, because you say the user are allowed to connect with other community who are doing the cleanup as well, from other place outside of Malaysia or even within Malaysia. So is there a feature where we can actually exchange idea on how we can, with the waste that we have, how we can reduce or reuse this waste or alternative ways to actually reuse? Is there a feature where we can chat and exchange idea?
Not yet. So that's why it's like we are still in the phase 1 of the app development. So our goals, like for the apps, is like now it's like doing the data collection, doing a lot of this kind of like phase 1, see what need to be improved, what is the bug, because once you have this, so but yes, so we do kind of see the next 2-3 years where this apps is like to be developed, where one thing is like that we're able to find the closest recycling place or zero waste store. So roadmaps and stuff. We do kind of see this app to develop into that in that form. So when and then points as well, where whenever you do cleanups, you get 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, and then you can redeem those. So it's a one for all app, kind of in terms of data collection, in terms of rewarding, in terms of green points, and connecting to other organizations or the most local to you that is providing green services or recycling. So we're still kind of developing, we're still kind of looking at the possibility. So and that's
feel
where
free and download to actually explore.
And I also suddenly thought, right, if we have teachers or educators looking at this live right now, you can also use this like how Mr. Faisal said, it can be very educational. This can be an additional assignment for the kids, now that everybody is at home.
Yeah,
and then
it's like a game. And you can
just
read
ask
cash.
the kids, then just go around your house and find the trash. And it could be a good data collection, like how Mr. Faisal shared just now.
Exactly.
And for school, we already got the approval from Ministry of Education, and we already submitted letters and everything to all the state
Education department.
Education departments for a part of the program. Yeah, so far the MOE is already supporting it, and then from there they can actually schools are free to participate for the program, right? So it's like, so right now we have an active group in Kelantan. It's like all of the places when we talk about like environmental awareness, right? Kelantan is always like somewhere it's like we rarely heard, right? Yeah, but we're so kind of happy to see. Oh my, it's like because it's like we're not connected to that community because I'm in KL. Kelantan is so far away, but now we are connected, so we understand what is a lot of the efforts there. Yeah, so on that side, we know that there's actually a lot of groups out there who are in Kelantan who really love the environment, who really so now we are connected to communities in Kelantan who are actively doing it, and we better understand. So if any future projects, it's like, look, it's like we know those people, we already connected, we already engaged, we already done webinars with the teachers, with the kids. So it's like there's an active community vibrant out there. Then we have a group in Perak, we have a group in Selangor, we have in Sabah. So we're so now it's like in the apps, it's like we can see other people, other communities are doing it, and they are amazing to see. And most of these are teachers, kids that is doing it, a part of their co-curriculum. So it's like a part of their program. So it's like and then they use the platform as a form of like reporting, right? So then it's like it's easy in the platforms. Like you rather than it's like every day, it's like you get pictures at WhatsApp or on or Telegrams, like, and it's hard to need. Now you can just look. Okay. So you
That's
can see.
That's the best part of virtual platform.
Yeah, so
even you can connect people all over.
Yeah.
And now that we learn that even in other places there are people like-minded people, and how we can actually join force and make this a bigger impact. Absolutely.
So it's been a great learning for the last year in terms of like this virtually we can do cleanup virtually. We can still be a community virtually. So it's just a matter about finding that kind of platform and see where we can be. All right. So next.
All right.
So meanwhile, if anybody has any questions for Mr. Faisal, please feel free to drop in this comment section. So we'll get your question addressed later.
Yeah, right.
All right. Yeah, okay. So, but then the problem with transitioning to online, right? The challenges is kind of next. Yeah. First is understanding teaching method and audience, right? So what we found in the last 2 years, especially in doing environmental education, is transitioning from a physical to an online, right? We have to understand that the teaching method and the audience that we are talking to. So language, presentation was really keys in a lot of this online effort to educate, because what we see is like we have to understand that in physical it's easy for us to assess. We are there, we can see, but when online you don't really see it, so you it's hard for us to assess. So once we understand the most how to do the presentation properly, the audience correctly, then we're better to actually educate. So that's why it's for this particular program and the Malaysia Eco-Because Community Program, whenever we do online, so once we kind of figure out that little bit how to educate them, so most of our session, I would say 80% is successful, or the input coming are much more interactive. Right. Okay, next. Right. Then gauging the emotion and interaction. Right. So
we can't see.
Yes. At the end of the day, so a lot of people will just close their webcam. So how do you, as a teacher, you as a nurse, so how do you, you feel like you're just talking by yourself? A lot of people are not really kind of, so that is the thing. It's hard to engage emotion and interaction. So having kind of like interactive moments or videos, like to kind of incorporate into the teachings, like to make them engage, is like, so that is the challenges. So once we kind of like figure that out, so gauging the emotion and interaction, so then make it easier. So next.
Yeah.
And then level of awareness on the subject matter, right? So when you are doing this, it's like when you don't see it, so you can't really read their faces in terms of, or their perceptions, like in terms of, are they understanding it? And that is the challenges. It's like, and most of us who are so physical, it's like with kids every single day, it's like physically, we know how to read those, but by the time it's like with this online, it's hard to really read. It's like either they are watching that, are they bored, are they kind of, so it's really hard to do that, right?
I guess we
So
just have to guess and try different way.
yeah, so we have to kind of like always kind of just evolve and then just like read the room better. It's like, so that has been the biggest challenge of doing everything online, even physical cleanup, education, especially environmental education. All right, lastly, next. But the biggest challenge is a long-lasting competency after the session, and this is where we're still trying to crack the key, right? So we're still testing it out.
Competency in terms of
Understanding the material, right? So,
yeah,
right?
people always confused on that.
Yeah. So because because we just don't want to just give a talk and then it's like masuk telinga kanan keluar telinga kiri kind of thing, right? So in one ear out of the others, right? So we don't want that, because then it's just wasting my time and their time as well. So we have to really make it in a way that it's interactive. It's so that's why we have to understand in terms of the teaching method regarding the auditory teaching, the kinesthetic teaching, the visual teaching. So we need to understand different methods. So incorporate those in one session. So different level of teaching. People who are more engaging, they are able to actually do it. So once we figure this out, and this has been the biggest 2 years of experimenting, I say. It's like understanding like online education. It's like from a
we like it or
NGO
not, we have to do it.
Yeah. So once we to improve ourselves, to improve our services, to actually help out communities, help out other people. So and it's feel great because in last year alone we've already figured a lot of these items out, and because how we present, how we need, it's been a busy year for us. Even 2021, so it's been a busy year for us. It's like getting like requests every single day, having session every single day. So it's been a non-stop kind of like working from home. It's like for us, it's like doing a lot of this thing. So it's a great, because it's been great when we figured it out, how to make it interactive, how to use the digital platform and everything. It's just been a non-stop request. Before this, the limitation is always like,
you have to travel, you have to be present.
So now it's just like that's we can schedule like 10 sessions in a day kind of thing, and then done.
Yeah, that's great actually.
10 sessions.
Okay. So so that's the sharing I have right now.
All right.
Yeah, that's a great sharing. Thank you so much, Mr. Faizal, for the sharing. Sharing with us all the data and stuff. If those of us who, even though we are in this field, yet data actually gives us a gist of like how much of waste we produce every day, or even just for one day. If not mistaken, just now the data that you show is just the data that collect during one specific duration, right?
Yeah, basically it's just from the 1st till the 2nd of September. Right?
Sorry.
Okay.
First to second of
no, 1st August till the 2nd. Yes. So it's only about 1 month. Yeah.
A month, yeah.
A month of data. So it's like because it's like because we were engaging the kids every single day. It's like at the school every single day, like teaching them how to use the apps, right? And then following up with them. So it's like, so let them kind of like get familiar with, and we understand a lot more now because when we go to the rural areas, like it's not matter about devices. It's the basic of like literacy in terms of using an online platform, right? So we have to kind of like and then the second issue is connectivity. So we still, so the more rural you go, it's like online doesn't work because it's like there's a lot of challenges with infrastructure, with accessibility. So we have to figure out how the best way to move forward.
Yes. Talking about that, I'm just curious, like Mr. Faizal, because you have been collecting all the data and to show it to public. So after all these years of doing, what is the impact that you see with the data that you have while you show to the public, and how is it important?
For me, okay, so talking from a research background, right? The data is still small. Even though we say we have 3-year data, but the subset data of the collection is still small to really make kind of like a conclusion. We can make a hypothesis in terms of what it is, but we still need to prove the hypothesis is right, right? So because when I was in the States, it's like I started my journey as a research assistant, so lab assistant, and I was working as a research assistant for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency as well, for one of the Superfund site. So for me, data has been like looking at data is something that I've been doing since 2006. So looking at data is something that I've been doing. And it's still new, so it's hard for me to say what it is right now, because I don't want to make a bold statement, and that is one of the key problems, at least I see with a lot of organization out there. When we talk about pollution, right, they like to make bold statements, but the data doesn't back it up, right? The idea that they kind of talking about, when they say data, there's data available. When you try to like, can you share the data, be transparent about the data? That's where they hide it, and that is where it's the same thing for both sides, right? For either from the grassroots or the industry. So when you kind of hide it, it's like it's not transparent. How reliable is the data?
So right now, so convincible, I would say, right?
Yes. So we can always skew the data to actually what we want, and that is the truth of data analytic itself. So you can actually skew the data to get the result you want, especially on waste or plastic pollution, right? So that's why the last 2 years after like the zero waste journey, I moved towards a low carbon lifestyle, because I have to understand the whole life cycle, right? If I want to use plastic bag versus reusable bag, so the question is what are environmental impact for both sides, right? So so it's like then it's like when you understand the impact of the both sides, then it's like we're better understand. Like right now, when we talk about glass, everything need to use glass. Do people actually question two things? I always ask. One, is glass is recyclable, right? Oh yes, it's recyclable. Yes, in theory, it's the same thing with plastic. But in reality, if you look at any recycling program in Malaysia, glass is not really recyclable because there's no value. Number two, we always question it's like, plastic is made from fossil fuel. We have to drill it. Well, glass is made from sand. We have to sand mine it, right? So have we looked at our sand mining operation in Malaysia? What happening
whether
to
sustainable or not?
Yes, it's like what's going on inside to the rivers? Has it destroyed our? So no one questioning that. And then I said, why? Because it's like you want to pull the narrative to what you want, but you don't want to address the issue, the solution that you're right. So and that's the problem here. So when you transitions, I always say it's like transitioning like from one idea to another, right? It's like it's good because you learn in that process. When you learn in that process, you better understand what you are talking, and that's always been my motto in life: walk the walk and talk the talk. I don't want to just talk about it based on facts. I want to understand so I can actually really talk it and walk the lifestyle that I feel like it's true. Because it's easy for everyone to talk about waste. It's easy for everyone to talk about sustainability, but living the life itself with less waste, sustainability, that's where something that is not easy as just like talking about it, right?
Agree. I think even as a consumer, right, it should be we as the consumer, we like how Mr. Faizal said, like everybody, like not everybody has a thought that, like you said, right, when you buy a thing, do you know do you do research, do you know if this is really recyclable? So it's back to the consumerism. So I think yeah, that is very much related to us as the consumer. But anyway, Mr. Faisal, we have one question from the floor. So the question sounds as I think he's asking for. Sorry, Uze is asking. Do you believe that one day we can go back to the normal norm? He's asking about the long-term
Everyone wants to know.
effectiveness of online program.
All right. In my opinion, based on data and the trend, right? I don't think we'll go back to the normal norm. So I think it's time for us to learn how to live with COVID, and that is the reality of it, and that's the reality that no one wants to actually admit, right? Because viruses is a stunning creature. It's a stunning human I would say it's like organism, right? They evolve fast. They change their name. So it's like the more we are fighting it, right? Even it's like the more our body adapt to it, it's like the more it evolved, it mutated. So viruses is something that is good, that constantly evolving, right?
Yes.
So at this point, we have to accept the reality that COVID is not going away, right? It's like SARS, it's like the flu. So what we need is to get ourselves protected, vaccinations, and then maybe like figure out a long-term boosters, kind of like immunizations, right? It's the same thing with hepatitis. It's the same thing with kind of a lot of this in the past. We just now in the last 2 years, so what we need is to like, how can we coexist with it? How we can manage it? How is the new norm of like living with COVID? It need to be implemented. And it's like an online program effectiveness is like is something that is in the urban setting, it is good, it is amazing. But the problem with online setting is the rural area, because it's like, and this is where we need to fix. We need to fix the rural area, because we need to lift them up first. We can't just develop the urban area and then forget about the rural area, right? So and that's where sustainability need to happen. So we the last 2 years, what COVID has exposed is we've been talking about rural development, but we haven't seen it, and this is proof. The proof is here. We've seen it. So how many kids doesn't have devices? How many kids villages don't have access to internet, right? So infrastructure itself, it's already open out there. So it's time for us to together and fix. So at the end of the day, having an online effectiveness site, some people do. For me, as a person who are so busy, right, I actually love virtual meetings because it really cuts a lot of traveling time. It really kind of like optimize your time on a daily basis to really kind of do it.
Apart from reducing the carbon footprint as well.
But the bad side is you will sit in front of the laptop for like 10 hours straight.
Yeah, so you always have to. That's always, it's the same thing. If you're in the office, right, you're still sitting down. Right, so it's like if you're traveling, it's like you're still sitting down. So it doesn't. It's like, so right now, at least sitting down is much more optimized, and it's much more kind of like. But
absolutely,
it's also transforming the way we see development, right? Before this is like when we talk about development, we need to build. Now it's like, do we really need to build an office? Do we really need to build like shopping mall? Do we really need to build so it's like now in terms of developing cities with an online kind of like version of it, it's like we can actually optimize that spaces, because we're running out of spaces. We don't want to open new land, new forests, right? We don't want to So it's like now it's like we can look at it, it's like we can actually revamp our city development to become more sustainable. It's like
more green space.
Yes, more green space. Because online is amazing. We just need to build the amazing internet infrastructure to connect everyone. Then we can use. It's like right now it's like we say, we have so much empty malls. Guess what? All those empty malls, is like if we convert it, right, like to kind of like apartments or kind of indoor apartments with indoor kind of like shops, right? It can be something. If we convert a lot of those apartments like to become like urban community farm, for example, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we can do as well. So it's a if we put the creativity in thinking
depends.
of it, we can revamp a lot of these areas and make it more optimized and create a sustainable community.
It depends on how we explore. I think, I hope that answers Uzay's questions. And actually, Mr. Faisal, just now as you were sharing about the glass, and we received a very interesting question from Kylene. Kylene asked about what is the best material for packaging, since both plastic and glass is actually bad for the environment. Not to say bad, maybe not so sustainable for now. So what would you recommend if that case?
Okay, so in terms of packaging, right, that's whatever we do, right, so we have to go forward in terms of in this area. Every single decision we make has an environmental impact, right? So if you are as an operation, the question is you have to understand the life cycle analysis. If you're using glass, you need to understand the whole life cycle analysis of glass. If you're using plastic, the whole life cycle analysis of plastic. If you're using biodegradable, you have to understand the whole life cycle analysis. The question is, you have to understand from the beginning, the production, the middle, right? And then the end life. You have to understand all these four processes. Once you understand all these four processes, then you address every single issues in those four processes. Make it circular. Right? If we're using plastic, can we make it more circular? That means, can we make the design of the plastic that we use, it is recyclable continuously, right?
It means can we collect back, how the industry can collect back and reuse them continuously?
Yes, continuously.
Yeah.
If we're using glass because we feel that is the better, then you as an operation need to set up a glass recycling program. You can't say it's like we're using glass and all. Then it's like it's not our responsibility. Then you're no different from a plastic manufacturer, right? If your producers we're using glass, but we don't accept glass, we don't recycle back glass, then it's like you're no different, right? So it's the same thing. It's like it's all taking responsibility. That's why, like in Generasi Peduli Sampah, we have a saying: sampah kita, tanggung jawab kita. Right? So it doesn't matter you're from as an individual, as a corporation, right? Sampah kita, tanggung jawab kita. Our waste, our responsibility, right? So if we're
in a way, what Mr. Faisal, you were saying, it's there is no definition on which one is the best material, but it depends on how you use it. Like for example, if plastic you can use for a long time, then it's fine. And for a corporate point of view, industry point of view, if you can produce it and eventually provide a system that collects it back so that it closes up the loop rather than it end up somewhere else in the dustbin, then it's good. Is that what you're trying to convey?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like waste is going to generate. It's like everything has an environmental impact. It is about the trade-off, right? So it's always about the trade-off. Once you understand the life cycle analysis, you understand what using one thing, what is always the environmental trade-off. Right, so even like we say, it's like phones. It's like we say, electric car. Like for example, let's say automotive. We say, electric car is the best. We need to go to electric car. Do people actually question like the rare metal earth mining for lithium? Right. So the child labor are used in actually mining a lot of this lithium. Right. So and then how do we manage the battery waste at the end of the life cycle? No one's questioning yet, right?
Yeah, like you said, Mr. Faisal, I should say, because it's out of sight, so now it is out of mind.
Yeah,
right.
So
correct.
So a lot of the times that when people put in a proposal, one solution is better, people don't look at the life cycle analysis. True. People don't look the whole cycle. So my job in the last 5 years is whenever people give out a new me, I will question the life cycle analysis. And that's what it's like. So when I go to like any sessions or like blueprints, so it's like people is like, you are environment, but you're always against. Yeah, because I question every single thing. Because to make a sustainable decisions, like in terms of we can't just call things sustainable. We have to better understand. We have to have all the information. If not, we're just creating a future problem. Like plastic was years before, it's like we didn't see it. it's going to be the same thing with every single solution out there.
Yeah.
So
I think
we have to
actually
start thinking
links to the next. I think we have one last question from the audience, which is also very interesting.
Yeah.
And something that's unavoidable. So perhaps Asha, you wanna read out the question?
Yeah, can. So this question comes from Miss Key. She's asking, what is your opinion about mask disposal, and we cannot avoid using it nowadays?
Yes.
So
Okay.
what is your thought about this?
I am really against disposable masks because there's two reasons: economical and environmental. Right? It's been 2 years. 2 years we are in facing COVID, right? But in Malaysia, it should be more than 2 years because every single year we have our haze season where we wear masks as well, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, right? So can you imagine? First, how many boxes do you purchase on a monthly basis? Minimum like one box. One box is cost like what, 30 ringgit, right? A cost for a disposable mask is what? Like 20, 30 ringgit as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you buy 7 disposable, reusable masks, right? You already invest. You've already saved in terms of the future, it's like of the mask that you consider buying, right? So you economical sense, you already save a lot of money. Right? So you have to save a lot of money in the long run. So number 2, disposable mask is the same thing with because right now, so when we see, right, so people just throw it away, literally every single way. Whenever we find masks nowadays, right? So it's the same thing, and we haven't changed the mindset of littering.
Yes,
so it's easy, disposable. It's like use and throw. It's like, and that's where the challenge is, because then you're just clogging again our drain with disposable mask. You're actually just spreading the virus with the disposable mask.
Yes.
So it's not sustainable. So there's always ways to avoid it, right? So I have about 6 pairs of reusable masks right now. On a daily basis, I always bring 3 pairs with me, right? So every few, what I do is just change out, right? So at the end of the day, I will all use 3. By nighttime, I just put it in the hot water, pretty much just like to wash it a little bit and dry it. Next day, I can use it again because it doesn't take long to dry it, right? So it's just, you have to do it kind of constantly, and then you're able to do it. So, and that's how I practice, it's like on a daily basis. So it is all about nak seribu daya, tak nak seribu dalih.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
If there's a way, there's a will, right? If you really want to avoid it, you will avoid it, and that's the thing. It's like people say, "Oh, it's like we need to decide." No, it's like people say, "Oh, we need to like double masking and stuff." I'm like, look, it's like if you continue doing physical distancing, if you wash your hands, if you follow the SOP, right? You don't need double mask. You don't need disposable. You don't need, so what you need is just a simple mask. It's like that you are able to kind of do it, and then it's like basically we're able to actually still kind of like avoid it. So that's my opinion.
So of course, thank you, Mr. Faizal, for sharing about this. Of course, according to KKM, also there are also some expert advice that in certain place maybe there is a higher risk, then it's still advisable. Perhaps if you still feel comfortable and wearing a double layer mask with one disposable mask, appropriate one, and one outside it's a cloth mask, then it's okay. It's still according to KKM what they advise. You're still welcome to do so, but most importantly, it's what Mr. Faizal shared. Don't simply throw your mask. Of course, you don't want to spread it to any other place. You don't want to spread it in the drainage and any other place. So make sure you dispose your mask responsibly so that it don't harm other people. Imagine those that our rubbish collector, if they collect your disposable masks that you just simply throw like that on the street, So what harm would it cause to the outsider?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
be conscious on that.
So, and if you do kind of use the disposable mask, it's the same thing with any single-use plastic, right? I already told everyone who are part of the Malaysia community, if you want to put your disposable in your eco bricks, first wash it, dry it, and then you just pack it in the eco bricks, right? You don't need even dispose it. You can just pack it into the eco bricks because
that's
it's still
another
plastic,
way.
right? So then you're still preventing waste going to landfill.
Still make sure you manage it well.
Yeah, so there's always because if you end up using it as well, so the question is how do you manage it, the waste, right? So if you can't avoid it, if you feel, because at the end of the day, it's at the end what you are comfortable with, right? So for me, I'm not comfortable using disposable mask, so I am putting layers of like safety measures, right? So that means changing my reusable for every 2-3 hours, for example. I keep make sure that I don't dine in, dine out kind of thing. I make sure that I wash my I constantly washing my hands or sanitize my hand. I don't really touch anything willy-nilly. I keep my physical distancing. The more I kind of improve that. So, and good news is like it's been 3 years, and knock on wood, I still haven't got COVID, right? So but now
no, we really hope that everyone stays safe. Mr. Faisal, don't touch the wood. Make sure you continue to take care.
And if you have to get vaccination, go and get it, right? So and that's another way that you can safeguard yourself. So
and your family.
So yes.
Thank you so much once again, Mr. Faisal, for sharing such a valuable insight, isn't it, Asha?
Yeah, it is. And I'm so sorry that we are running out of time. So there are a few more questions. And I'm so sorry that we can't address it now, but probably we can do it later in the chat box. And thank you once again, Mr. Faisal, for sharing such a valuable insight with us. And I believe all of us have a great takeaway today, right? And to our audience, if you have other things that, other ways of reducing as much waste as whatever that Mr. Faisal has shared, apart from whatever he has shared, please also share with us in the comment box below, right?
And if you want to hear more, interesting sharing like from what Mr. Faisal have shared and from Impact Fusion about sustainable waste in that. So do check out our EcoTalk program. And you can find more about this EcoTalk program on Penang Green Council or Impact Fusion social media as stated in the crawler below. So this is our web banner. So basically you can find it on our social media or Impact Fusion social media. So you can engage us for a talk. Okay. So lastly, we will like to share a short video clip titled as "Are You Miss Socks or Mr. Box in Real Life?" So we hope you enjoy this video and have a nice weekend, everyone. Goodbye. Thank you, Mr. Faisal.
Thank you.
All right.
A few moments later.
當叫我再煮住食紅燒啦，關我事咯。
喜歡咩？安怎 Mr. Box 是正式的紅燒呢？到底伊殺了水水？等我來給大家一個提示，其實這個代誌甲我哋碳足跡有關係。最後你會使到邊個 Green Council 嘅 Facebook、Instagram 加 YouTube 找到這個 video。